This is Minami, new arrival from Roma. Apologies if you've had some audio issues. Hopefully sorting that now. First corner of the game was Brighton's, as you might have seen. Brighton unchanged today, by the way. And why would you change it if you're Dario Vidicic? Excellent win last time out against West Ham. Lots of changes for Everton, and he has been changing things around a fair bit, Brian Sorensen, hasn't he, Fern, this season? He's got a few enforced today.
Yeah, it's almost like he's not quite found that formula that he's looking for. I think enforced into an injury with Rion Ishikawa, who was saying yesterday in his... coming in at right full back, so that's a change we weren't potentially expecting to see today. But formation-wise as well, it looks like they've gone with the two up top in Kacha Snoys and Ornella Vignola as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they can produce today, because, as I said, performances of late have not been where Everton would have liked to have seen them.
Stenovic playing it forward. She started the League Cup defeat. They've had contrasting form and fortunes of late. Brighton were local and had a pretty comfortable win at Pompey, lower league Pompey in the League Cup. Everton's test was rather tougher. It's Man City away. They got one back late, but they were 3 goals down at that point. So, yeah, 3 defeats out of 3, Fern, for Everton in League and Cup since that wonderful start at Anfield.
Yeah, and I saw them, I went to watch them against Tottenham Hotspur as well, and they just never got out of second gear, to be honest. I think for me it's the lack of chances that they're creating in front of goal, especially, say, compared to that first game where they're scoring 4 goals. They seem to be lacking that and just not really finding their feet, especially in midfield as well. But as you say, with so many changes, that's potentially like the team are just trying to settle in and find their feet, especially with 9 new signings this season as well.
Yeah, 9 in, 9 out, and one of those in. Rosa van Hoel there, who's come in from Ajax. She was in to start, then out and back in again now. Ruby Mace has got the Everton corner here. That was a 4-1 with an asterisk at Anfield. It was the least 4-1 kind of 4-1 you've ever seen. Everything they hit went in. Mace's corner easily grabbed by Chamaka Ndozi, one of the new Brighton recruits, who's just come fourth in the Ballon d'Or awards in the goalkeeping department. Great honour after Nigeria's fine showing at the AFCON. And that award was won by WSL goalkeeper Hannah Hampton of Chelsea. And I think we all know why that was. For club and country, quite superb. Ollie Sluggers teasing it forward.
Yeah, we've got two teams here today, Ben, that for me like to get the ball down, like to play that.
So Claire Wheeler, the Aussie, in a slightly different role here. They do have Karen Holmgaard who can play it right back and does. But that was a tactical decision, Brian Sorensen said pre-match, but without his first choice keeper, Courtney Brosnan. And Kelly Gago out. Concussion protocol, Rihanna Shikawa with a knee issue. So we've got a very settled team in Brighton against a rather shuffled about team in Everton. We know Brighton like the high turnovers. So we've got a contrast of style as well as form and consistency. This is Martina Fernandez, who was a loanee from Barcelona, now a permanent addition for Everton. Good signing. Oh, Van Hoel read that and pinched it. Important tackle coming in. Adjuman out to Kiko Seike. WSL debutant hat-trick in this fixture at the start of last season. Good ball as well for Kafaji. Couldn't quite control it on a slightly awkward bounce.
Just what we're seeing there, obviously, from Brighton, though, is just the way they can change the pace and do it quickly. Kiko Seike looking up, she tries to get it right across the edge of the box, and Kafaji just can't make it work that time. But you can see what Brighton are trying to do, and they will play quick on the counter as well in that transition.
4-0 opening day win last season in this fixture for Brighton. Was their biggest win of the season, actually. Kiko Seike became the first ever WSL debutant to score a hat-trick. And it was the only one until Ornella Vignola of Everton did it at Anfield. An extraordinary game. They did not have a kick, Everton, and yet won 4-1. First attack was her equalising goal. If they could play at Anfield every week, they'd win the league. Major turnover, as you said, 9 new signings for, and in that opening game at Anfield, 6 of them started. So it's you know, more than half a new team. Yeah, 6 of the outfield 10 were new signings. Yeah,
like you say, it is a big change for a team, and we've seen it so often, you know, with teams, especially even Brighton as well, to a certain extent. There's been a lot of changes.
Last year, certainly. They went big, didn't they? Ambitious and brought in a lot.
Yeah, they did, and you know, it's interesting for the players, because it's then how quick can you gel as a team? Have you had a pre-season that's allowed you enough time to kind of figure each other out, develop those relationships a little bit? So we will see 2 teams today that are again still going through that developmental phase, but I think in Brighton we've seen a team that have potentially done it a little bit quicker. They've got into, you know, where Dario Vidicic's style of play, and interestingly as well, I think in the first couple of games they've gone direct a lot more, Brighton as well, which is we didn't see them do too often. So they'll try to mix it up in this game as well.
Adjeman with a little hand up in apology. That nearly caused a problem, but actually it's turned into something potentially promising for them here. Kafaji, like Adjeman, on loan from Arsenal. A goal and an assist for Rosa Kafaji on her WSL starting debut for Brighton last time out. It's a comfortable win against West Ham. Holly Slagers, who scored in that, even though she's playing at left back, and scored in the cup actually midweek, 2 in 2 for Marisa Holly Slagers. Ruby Mace on the slide.
I think Frankie can get going this week like she was last week. She was on fire against West Ham, and she drilled everything, and everything went through her for the goals. Obviously getting on the score sheet herself. So I think for her she's going to be key for this Brighton side today.
Joint top scorer in the league last term with the now departed Nikita Paris. That investment last summer, kind of showed you their ambition. Mamiki. Signola waited, and that allowed Charlize Rule to feel she could get it, which she did. Yeah, Nikita Paris from Man U, Fran Kirby from Chelsea, Brunner in from Barcelona. It was a real shift that for Brighton. It's saying, right, we're going to try and mess up that established top half of the table.
Yeah, and not only that, obviously it's the investment that they've put in off the pitch as well. We've seen, you know, the new facilities they've built for the players. That's obviously going to be an attraction when you're looking to sign top talent. So you can see where they want to be. They want to be a team that's at the top half of the table. They want to be a team that's playing Champions League football. And maybe they had that ambition a couple of seasons ago, but they didn't really have the squad or the players to back it up. Whereas now what we're seeing is a real squad that can do that, can score goals, but equally can be resolute in defence. And I think that's one area for them this season, if they can sharpen up in, because they've only conceded 2 goals already so far this season. So for me, if they can keep that going, then that builds real strong foundations for this Brighton side.
Yeah, that's definitely been a thing. Clean sheets all too rare last season. They only had 2 the year before that, and obviously there was a huge amount of change that season. 4 different people took the side during the course of that. But yeah, 5th last term. Had a great start, they had a good end, and they had a fairly long, dodgy spell in the middle, actually. It's kind of the Brighton campaign in a nutshell. They went from mid-November to mid-March without winning a league game. But they doubled Everton, either side of that. Thanks in no small part to Kiko Seike here, up against Maz Pacheco. It's well read by Martina Fernandez.
Just couldn't quite make it work there, Kiko Seike, could she? Just trying to look for the feet of Michelle Adjeman on the edge of the box. They just weren't quite in sync in that moment. But again, you can see what they're trying to do when they do pick the ball up on their own half. They want to counter, and they want to do it quickly.
Good first touch from Holly Slagers. Adjeman didn't need that pass, though. It's a 4th season in charge for Brian Sorensen. It's pretty good going to get that long.
It is, and I think, you know, there's been a mixed bag of kind of outputs from, you know, is he doing well enough, for the team performing well enough? We've seen them end up in relegation battles over the last couple of years, and for a team like Everton, a team that I used to play for, and we were winning things, and I think that's where Everton want this team to be. And now, like you say, they've got Goodison as now their home ground this season. You know, the investment you can see they're putting in, and they obviously want to do that. You can see they've made 9 signings this season, so potentially a change for them this season. But as you know, results haven't gone their way so far, and that'll have to show on the pitch soon in those performances.
It's a pretty good stint for a coach who hasn't, you know, been... I mean, you can't necessarily expect a title challenge or anything like that, but, you know, 6th, 8th and 8th. You're right, there'll be, I think there'll be greater expectation on him this term, and maybe... It's going to have to be better than 8th, I think, if you sign 9 players.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be looking for at least, you know, middle of the table and above with, you know, the amount of money they're putting into things.
And in that mix are Brighton. That was a good ball for Kafaji. Yeah, that battle to be the best of the rest, if you like, under what we presume will be the top 4. But Brighton ambitious, and we know London City Lionesses as well.
Even Brighton finishing 5th last season, you know, it's a case of can they do that again? We've not seen teams do it before, where they can keep that consistency and stay there. So for them, that'll be the challenge for me, and I think it should be about that. It should be about keeping consistent and staying next to the top 4 pack.
Well, Seike's cross has missed everyone, and the flag was up anyway.
Kafaji's such a bright young talent for me.
Well, she's getting what she came for, right?
Definitely, she's come in and, you know, she's getting minutes, and I think the goal we've seen her score last week against West Ham was an absolute wonder goal, which just showed a little glimpse of, well, not just a glimpse, but a lot of what she is capable of. So, you know, for her, it's about doing that week in, week out with the minutes she is getting and showing Arsenal what she can do.
Yeah, that excellent goal was the 3rd of the 4 they got at West Ham. Calmly done by Emily Ramsey. She started the League Cup game in midweek, so she's not coming in cold for Courtney Brosnan in that regard. Might have work to do here, though. The Arsenal loanees combining again. Kafaji's bought herself some room. And it's a lovely effort that was definitely curling for that corner. And right on cue, Emily Ramsey makes the game's first serious save. Nearly another wonder goal from Rosa Kafaji.
It was, just as we were talking about, obviously, what Kafaji is capable of. She kind of steps up at the edge of the box and manages to get a fantastic strike off, and really challenging Emily Ramsey in the Everton goal.
Here she is again, and Ollie Slagers, the underlapping run. Good early ball, early Brighton pressure, and another Brighton corner.
Yeah, fantastic work down this left-hand side from Ollie Slagers. I think she does really well to link up with Kafaji. And then obviously be really direct and really creative to try and get into the box. I think Fernandez, again, in the edge of the box is equal to it. And great signs on this left-hand side for Brighton.
One of the English game's all-time greats on corner duty here. Frank Kirby. Deep delivery. Van Hool hooks it out. Another former Chelsea player there in Jelena Jankovic. Not quite as regular as a blue as Kirby by quite a margin. And another who's come for regular football and is getting it in there with Maisie Simons. Rule. Jankovic. Everton can't play their way out at the moment. They're just defending deep and booting it when they can. It's a decent spell, this, for the home side, playing with some of the confidence you might expect from having had a good week, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even in the corner there, obviously Frank Kirby's taken it, delivered it quite deep, and it was difficult for Minami to kind of make anything from it, but they're showing promising signs, Brighton.
Super first-time ball from the young skipper, Maisie Simons, there. Kafaji for Seike. Brighton playing all the football here in the first quarter. Nothing to show for it yet. Maybe something in transition here for Everton. Wheeler. Ruby Mace under pressure from Ajimang. That's nicely worked. Just needed that a little further in front of her, and Ajimang's done well. Kafaji. That's blatant. And Ruby Mace is booked for it. It's only a little pullback, but it's a pullback. Cynical challenge. Yellow card, Ruby Mace.
Yeah, we see here she's just got her arms up on Maisie Simons there. It's unnecessary and it's not needed to get a yellow card so early on in the game. I think just in the build-up to that as well, Michelle Ajimang just doing really well. With the defensive capabilities, what we spoke about, winning it deep for a team and then creating that advantage for them to get. Now they've got that free kick for, in kind of the edge of the 18 here. So, yeah, I think she's done really well, Michelle Ajimang.
Kirby, lovely way to pass, good awareness that Cankovic was there. Onside, difficult cross, running against herself. Caitlin Hayes was up there. Kirby with a layoff for Seike, just showed enough to allow Mamiki in with the challenge.
Thought Caitlin Hayes did really well there to just keep the play alive. It looked like the ball was lost. She's kept it alive, but good defending from Everton to win it back.
Perfect way to pass. Maz Pacheco, rare chance for her to raid up the left. Started them all since joining from Villa. Maz Pacheco.
Yeah, promising play there from Everton. Yeah, Yuka Mamiki obviously picking it up in her own half, and she's done really well to drive and get it forward to Maz Pacheco playing higher up on that left-hand side, and I think that's ideally for her, that's where she'd like to be and where Everton would like to see her getting forward a little bit more. Just putting some pressure on that Brighton back line. Brighton look organised defensively as well when Everton are trying to play through them through the middle and making it difficult for them.
Hiyashi. Hayes dispossessed. Quick turnover possible here. Rare touches up front here for Katja Snoys. Vignola to her left. Here she is. Pacey forward. They brought in from Granada. Pacheco set her up nicely at Anfield. It's sat there well for Rosa van Hoel. Good chance. Everton's best by some distance in this opening quarter.
Yeah, it's a fantastic chance, and here we see again Maz Pacheco out on this left-hand side. It just falls for Rosa van Hoel, and she can't direct it away from Nadozi, but positive signs from Everton. Really, really positive start from them.
2 of the 4 goals they got at Anfield was set up from Pacheco on the left there.
I think that's come as well from Caitlin Hayes, just getting dispossessed as she's trying to play out, and I think that quality's got to be there from Brighton as you are trying to come out. Fine and great to be possession-based football, but you do have to do it with quality because you can see what the danger is when you get counted against.
Maisie Simons looking for that ball a few times now. That's well won. Seike. Kirby, first time, 2 round the back, Ajimang, 1-0. A scupper, but they all count. Brighton have been much the better side in this opening quarter. Michelle Ajimang gives them a deserved lead, really well made. The early Fran Kirby cross was the killer there for Everton.
Yeah, really, really like that from Brighton. Real positive play, a real team goal as well. And as you say, Fran Kirby really effective in that build-up out on that right-hand side, linking up with Kiko Seike. You know, real positive from them. Look at that work rate from Fran Kirby. Seike picking it up, and, you know, they're working so well as a two. She sees it early in the box. Great cross from Fran Kirby. I thought she was going to go at it with her head for Kafaji, but Michelle Agyeman just does really well, gets it out of her feet and gets her first goal this season for Brighton, and what a way to do it.
Great bit of improv from Rosa Kafaji as the Arsenal loanees link up. And Everton's wobble, as it stands, set to continue. Brighton very much on the up, Everton on the slide. It's very early in the game, it's very early in the season, but the trends are continuing here.
Yeah, and I wonder what that'll do for Michelle Agyeman and her confidence now going forward. She was obviously potentially in her mind waiting on that goal, and now she's got it. I wonder if we'll see that kind of weight off her shoulders a little bit after having that first goal for the club.
Well, great summer. And a few on loan last season too. First of the season for the England striker. And Olislag has the options here. It's the former. Deep from Kirby. Goal kick.
Yeah, it just went a lot wide, and I think maybe Fran Kirby would have liked, as she's delivered that free kick in, Charlize Rowe couldn't quite direct the header back across goal to make anything from that.
Hiyashi under pressure immediately. First from Kirby, then from the goal scorer.
So looking at Brighton, who are a team that, you said before, conceded far too many goals last season. They now look organised, but not just in defence, not just as a back four or five, all across the pitch. And I think distances between the midfield, between the back line, they look close together. So when Everton are trying to play through, they're making it really, really difficult for them.
Well, they went behind at Anfield, as many of you will remember, and they turned that one round okay. But they do keep going behind. It is clearly, it's not a habit you want to get into, but it's happened in all the games this season for them. Kafaji offside.
Do you know what? I really like that from Maisie Simons, though. I think sometimes it's knowing when to play, you know, when to try and play through and when to potentially go over the top. And she saw the space for Rosa Kafaji, and she looks up early and delivers it into a path. Yes, she's offside that time, but I think for me, it's the early awareness to do so, which is really, really positive.
It's a pretty dominant 1-0. One big chance at the other end, not an easy one for Rosa van Hull, but that's it. Otherwise, it's been Brighton doing this, looking confident, looking sharp. Kafaji heavily involved so far. She's had a great half out.
Yeah, Everton playing with that two up top, but not quite managing to find it into Katja Snoe's feet or Ornella's feet at the moment. Is breaking down in the midfield for them. Even you see it there with the stats, obviously only 43% possession to Brighton's 56. So they're just not, they're finding it difficult to get hold of the ball and get hold of the game. But again, that's down to Brighton's organisation, Brighton's pressure.
Moving it to where there's some space after Everton closed ranks. Adjumang. Emily Ramsey has had a bit of time a couple of seasons ago where she had consistent starting, but obviously the excellent Courtney Brosnan been #1 for a while now.
You see Brighton trying to be patient here, which I think is what they need to do, and it's playing at the right time, and then when they get their moment to go forward with that quality and potentially not try to force it, it's just when that possession potentially comes dangerous, and you've got to make the right decision on when to go forward, which Mazpateka does great here.
Got to be accurate with those, and Minami was. They've worked that well. Good playing out from the back, and now real promise on the attack again. Kirby's found Seike. Seike's won a corner, and they were queuing up in the middle there. 4 in blue and white stripes.
They were, that intent for everybody. Like I say, Brighton just know the minute the ball gets out onto that right-hand side, that Frank Kirby's going to come forward with pace, with intent, and do the same from Kiko Seike as well. So the bodies in the box is exactly what Brighton need. You know, when you're looking to try and get the ball across and score goals, you can see it's a real style of their play.
In it comes now. Oh, that's really awkward round the back. Might be a bang in the head. Just a check from Stacey Pearson. No, on we go.
Yeah, I was wondering whether she'd given a free kick here, but you see Olaslager's getting a head up, delivering it over. I think it's Caitlin Hayes actually gets a head on the ball initially, just trying to nod it back across goal, but yeah, it's good defending.
Jankovic. Their combinations are lovely. I think the best thing you say for Everton right now is it's only 1-0. They're absolutely still in the contest at 1-0. It feels like more than 1-0 Brighton in terms of the flow of the game, doesn't it, Fem?
Yeah, definitely. And you see with the pressure Brighton are putting on them, especially down the flanks on both sides. Brighton just switching the ball across from right to left with ease at the minute, and it's all about Everton. Can they stay focused? Can they stay organised and keep the deficit down to 1 at the moment, as you say?
Doubled the Toffees last term. They've won 3 of the last 4 against them. Kirby here on the ball, got the other one with the Seike hat-trick in this fixture to kick off last season. Fran Kirby-Chant has moved from Kings Meadow to here. Here she is. A delicate chip. Lovely weight on it for Seike.
Again, you see Adjumang just waiting in the box. She knows the ball is going to come at some point, and I think it's really good to see. We see so many wide players play, and sometimes playing in isolation, but you know, Frank Kirby, when she gets on the ball, she's at least got 2 or 3 options, and it's positive for Brighton. It's making it really difficult for Everton to get in and get set, because they're playing so quickly in and around them.
Brighton just holding off the press for now. That'll tell you plenty. Twice as much been going on in that Everton final third as it has at the other end. It feels like more than that, actually.
Yeah, apart from that Van Hool chance, Ndozi's not really had much to do in the Brighton goal.
That's Pacheco. Momiki. Now Hiyashi.
I think that's the difference between the two sides at the minute. With Brighton, the interchange of positions, the fluidity, the movement. Players are interchanging positions all across the pitch. I think Everton have been a little bit rigid in terms of their formation, and you just need a little bit of free flow sometimes to move the defenders around.
Home fans enjoyed that Minami challenge. A few changes at the back in the off-season for Brighton. Gura Bergsvan to Wolfsburg. Poppy Pattinson left as well. Torres Dottir out of contract. Minami, one of the new arrivals back there defensively.
Yeah, and I think the question when that happened was, you know, had they lost quite a lot of experience with losing those defenders, obviously out of their back line. But, you know, bringing someone like Caitlin Hayes, for me, I think she's a fantastic defender. Yes, she's young, but she does have experience behind her as well. And, you know, she's a real presence in that Brighton back line, and she has got a strong aerial ability.
There's half an opportunity here for Honoka Hiyashi, and that was a good hit. It was either wider than I thought it was, or Chiamaka Ndozi had her bearings absolutely spot on. That's a decent strike and a rare one.
Yeah, she was quite calm in the goal, wasn't she? But Hayashi looks up, obviously left foot, tries to bend it in and around that post. And yeah, from the original angle, it looked like it was just bending in, but I think Ndozi had it covered.
Scored an equaliser at Palace last term, Honoka Hiyashi. 2 months into the season, she was the first Everton player to score a league goal. They'd had an own goal before that, but... well, conceding too many and not scoring enough is football's worst combination. And well, Everton cannot keep going behind and expecting to pick up points, and they've gone behind again here.
Yeah, they've made it really difficult for themselves and given themselves a little bit of an uphill battle here. You say the last 2 games, losing to London City, losing to Spurs. They're teams that potentially they would have wanted to get points against, definitely. So, you know, especially games like today as well, when you're playing the teams in and around you, then you want to be challenging and picking up points and making it difficult, and they're not quite in the game yet.
Ndozi, not only internationally, but at club level, brings good experience in from Paris FC. Pretty regular in the UEFA Champions League. They are again in it this year. Paris FC will be one of Chelsea's opponents.
Yeah, Ndozi again, just doing what we talked about before. Not afraid to go direct, not always having to play out and trying to find the feet of Adjumang.
Well, speaking of playing out, Charlize Rule got herself in a bit of a pickle there. And as a cynical challenge, that is a yellow card offence, so she joins Ruby Mace in the book.
Yeah, there's another shirt tug there from Rule, isn't it? She's going to go in the book if equality is anything to go by, and what happened with Mace not so long ago. You see here, she just gets out muscled a little bit, and yeah, it's another shirt tug.
the Aussie in the book. And Mumiki will deliver the free kick here for Everton, who needs something. And they've got a free header at the far stick. Martina Fernandez, Kafaji is there, but Martina wins it back. Seen nothing of Ornella Vignola, but we didn't see anything of her till she strode clear at Anfield and scored. Deflection on the cross. Here she is again, Vignola. Good ball. That's Pacheco attacking it. The left back got in there, only a glancing header on it, perhaps just beyond her.
Yeah, Pacheco does really well there to get herself so high and find herself in a goal-scoring position. She just can't quite get under it as the crosses come in to, you know, to connect properly and really direct it at goal. But the chances Everton have created have come when players like Mads Pacheco are playing higher up and are really putting the pressure on in the opposition's half. So it's positive signs. It shows what they can do if they do more and more of it.
You can hear Brian Sorensen constantly. That I always think that's a feature of Everton games. I mean, he doesn't stop, does he?
No, he doesn't
stop. Kind of
and
micromanagement from the touchline. I always wonder how if that can go in, if it's that permanent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see what he's trying to do, can't you? He's trying to organise the side, but you'd like to think the players on the pitch potentially could be able to do that themselves and kind of figure it out for themselves within game, but it's obviously a characteristic of Brian's that he likes to be in and around, in and involved, and making sure he can really see the pitches in the game and organise the players.
Yeah, she's very demonstrative. I thought it was the most perfect contrast to Anfield, where you had Gareth Taylor up in the stands, who pretty much says nothing and just looks very calm, whether his team are winning or losing 5-0. And Sorensen doing every bit of closing down and every bit of goal side, track back, fill in, drop off. His team looking slightly sharper here. They've had a better 5 or 10 minutes. Mace wouldn't quite sit for her to hit, and now potentially Brighton on the counter. Kirby with options. Seike is the one she's gone for. Kiko Seike. It's well in, Rosa van Gool.
Again, we see Brighton there, really, really dangerous on that counter. Frank Kirby again, instrumental in how quick and how aggressive they do that transition. They just could not seem to find the right pass, and the bodies again were in the box. But I think what I liked there from Everton was their intent to get back and defend. You see, they defended in numbers just as quick as Brighton got ahead in front.
Dario Vidosic there. Be really happy, I'm sure, with how his team have played. If he's nitpicking, maybe he'd say we could be 2 up here. Wouldn't be flattering, really, but it has been a better 10 minutes or so. Yeah, since the half hour, Everton have started to play a bit more. It's just stemming the flow for the first 30 minutes, or trying to.
It's that final third as well. Like, they've got good possession in and around their own box, potentially into midfield, but it's that midfield link up into the front three that, you know, we're not quite seeing. We're seeing it fall down. So it's that final third element and where kind of the connections are lacking.
Heavy touch for Claire Wheeler there, and it cost her the accuracy of the pass thereafter. Going to have to be quick if they're going to do something before the interval here. Ruby Mace. Always feel that players never look at the clock. There'll be one somewhere.
There is one. There's one in the corner of that stadium. Remember it well.
That's well won by Seike. is there time for a Brighton counter right at the end of this first half? Kiko Seike, great surge past Mace. There nearly was her again against Everton. And it is the last action of a first half that Brighton have dominated from start to finish. Michelle Agyeman with the only goal. It's absolutely on merit. Brighton have played the better football. Brighton having the better spell over this last week or two as well. And they are halfway to 3 points here at the break. It's Brighton 1, Everton 0. Yes, the departure of Nikita Parrish certainly helpful to her in that regard. Katja Snoys kicks off for Everton. Katja Snoys with a great individual record against Brighton, but she has not had a sniff of goal yet. Brilliant from Kirby. Great feet.
Yeah, she'll want to start the second half like she finished the first half. She looks electric today. She looks on fire. And she looks really up for it. And, you know, you see it's infectious, and it's doing the same for the teammates around her.
One of this league's great performers over the years. She'd have to be in your all-time WSL 11, I think, for longevity as well as quality. Might get caught sooner rather than later by Sam Kerr as Chelsea's top scorer all-time. Still has that honour. In it comes towards her, and Kiko Seike, flag was up.
Yeah, just as we were talking about as well, nearly involved in potentially another goal, Frank Kirby there, but Kiko Seike just drifting offside as the ball's being switched from left to right. Positive signs again, though, from Brighton to start so well early on in the second half.
Kirby got her debut goal in this fixture, slightly overshadowed by Kiko Seike here. It wasn't just any hat-trick either. 3 really good goals. Brilliant lob, one of them, as I remember, from Seike. He's trying to get in here and has done. The weight of the pass was perfect. The weight of the cross, not quite so.
She's just causing all sorts of problems down this right-hand side, Kiko Seike, isn't he? You know, Mads Pacheco doesn't know whether to get tight to her. If I get too tight, am I going to get rolled? Is she going to get round me? Or do I give her that yard of space? You know, unfortunately, if you give her that yard of space, she can touch the ball around you, and she's got that pace. So, you know, potentially, Mads Pacheco might need a little bit of help on this left-hand side to double up on her.
Seike pinching in there as well. Gets it back from Kirby. And it's really awkward and across. It hasn't even gone out of play. Kafaji picks it up. Wheeler for company. What a piece of skill from Kafaji here. Well, Everton dicing around here for sure. Their problem is Kafaji and down that left channel, they look dangerous. Kirby and Seike down this right. You've got Simons pulling the strings in the middle of the park. Brighton look dangerous from all angles at the moment. Yeah,
a great bit of skill there from Kafaji as well. Just the legs of Claire Wheeler, and she's won a team a corner.
Got in for the absent Madison Haley and has stayed in. Kafaji. Kirby's corner. Out properly at the second attempt by Yuka Mamiki. New arrival for Everton this term, coming in from Leicester. One of those 9 new arrivals for Everton.
Yeah, the corner wasn't necessarily a bad corner there from Kirby. I think it was just as the balls kind of dropped for the second balls, there was no one really waiting on the edge of the box from Brighton.
Kafaji again. Quickly surrounded.
Yes, it's a foul there from Agyeman, you know, potentially borderline. She doesn't look happy, but again, for me, it's a work rate. I think you've got to look at that and say the defensive work rate from someone who potentially you'd look to have as your striker scoring the goals. She adds that real element to Brighton this season.
Well, at the moment here, you've got a a unit consistent in its selection, where everyone seems to know their jobs and comfortable with it. Good at the back, good through midfield, good in the wide areas, attacking intent. And you've got a slightly disjointed, slightly cobbled together Everton side. And I guess everything's going to form in that sense, right? Brighton have had a couple of good wins recently. Everton have had 3 defeats on the spin and have got a few injuries. It's manifest on the pitch, this.
Yeah, the momentum is just swinging with Brighton, isn't it?
But it's only one. And here comes Maz Pacheco. Difficult, a ball coming across you like that. Difficult not to slice it.
Yeah, it's difficult but you see, Mamiki positive, moving the ball forward into the path of Pacheco. Looks like it got a touch off a Brighton defender as it actually took the strike there, or was it just being sliced, potentially just sliced there for Pacheco. But again, positive from here going forward. I think, you know, the bright sparks in Everton's team, Pacheco, Mamiki, they've looked to be positive and forward thinking when they have got the ball.
Stopped being regular at left back for Aston Villa and is getting what she wanted. Started all of the games since joining Everton. Maz Pacheco, here comes Agyemang. Gives Mamiki the brush off. Kirby slightly behind her, still a good controlling touch. Ruby Mason with a tackle, another Brighton corner.
Agyemang just showing a strength there on the edge of the box, just to brush off the challenge from the Everton defender. Just showing what they can do really on the counter, Brighton, and now obviously winning a corner. You know, Everton really wanting to be switched on from this and definitely not concede so early on into the second half.
Ollie Slugger's going short. Changes the angle for the cross.
Again, with the drop down there, Brighton just not having anyone on the edge of the box, which surprises me, considering how, you know, aggressive they go and getting numbers forward. For me, they need to have someone on the edge of the box for the drop downs.
Yeah, I think that's 3 in a row that have just fallen to Yuka Mamiki, who's been stood there defensively under no pressure.
Brighton again really organised in their structure and in their press. We see them pressing obviously the Everton back line high and trying to make it difficult for them, and even if they do get broken down the first time, it's that second press as well that they're there and they're ready for and forcing errors.
Nice. Maisie Simons with the awareness to know she could take it and turn into space. Ollie Sluggers. Brian Sorensen needs to change the flow of this game. Obviously, his side are totally still in the contest at 1-0. I'm not sure if it goes 2-0 that they've got it to get 2 unanswered goals back, but he's got a few different ways of changing things on the bench, and he was talking to Katie Robinson at half-time. That would be an out-and-out wide attacking option there. Although she has been playing further back since joining on loan from Villa.
Yeah, I think if she did come on, I'd like to see her higher up the pitch, Katie Robinson. She would be an interesting substitute to bring on at this stage in the game.
Agyemang, that's not going to count for Frank Kirby. Agyemang offside.
Yeah, it looked pretty straightforward, that one for me. Agyemang just drifting offside. Everton back line just holding the ground on that occasion.
And of course, what you got with Katie Robinson, you got the X factor, right? That's where she made her name. Breakthrough star. Got an England call-up as a Brighton youngster.
She did. She just struggled for minutes when she was, you know, at Aston Villa. I think that's why they brought her out on, you know, a season-long loan. at Everton to do so, and as you say, found herself playing in a deeper role on the right-hand side the last couple of games, which, you know, she's not accustomed to. So if she does come on it, I'd like to see her playing higher up.
Seike again, causing problems again, but a little too close to Ramsey again. Snoys to Pacheco. There's Minami. Van Hool. You're not going to get away with those these days. Ow. Well, I mean, a foul certainly, but yellow card. OK.
For me, a yellow card, I think, is harsh in that instance. I think, again, she's come through the back of Rosa Van Hool. You can see what she's trying to do, Michelle Aguimang, but, you know, she doesn't take the ball with her there, and she's given a free kick away on the edge of the box in potentially quite a dangerous position for Everton.
Goal scorer goes in the book with Charlize Rule, her teammate, and Ruby Mace of Everton. More potential damage. Is this set piece? A couple of goals in pre-season, Yuka Mamiki. Well, Maz Pacheco making way here. I'm slightly surprised by that. Karen Holmgaard is on. And also coming on, Hikaru Kitagawa, who did score in midweek, albeit they were 3-0 down at the time, late on in the cup tie, Man City. New defender. And straight into defending here. And what are they going to shake about? We'll have a look in a minute once the open play begins again, because that's not an obvious straight swap. Yuka Mamiki here, and the wall's done its job. Vignola, Holmgaard, who's finally shaken off her twin. They had gone everywhere together, but Sarah off the round grid in the summer. Jankovic forward. Kafaji on her own for now, but teammates arriving. Kafaji will fancy doing it herself, though.
Yeah, she just couldn't quite make that one work, could she? I think impressive for me then there in the Brighton back line was Caitlin Hayes, just commanding with the aerial header ball, and then to play that out to Jankovic, who can again spread the play and get it into the path of Roja Kafaji, so they can get from one end to the other end of the pitch, you know, within 2 or 3 passes. I think it was brilliant for Brighton.
So Kitagawa taking the place of Pacheco. At left back, and Ruby Mace was the other to make way. And that has seen Claire Wheeler pop back into midfield, where she'd rather be. I think Fern and Holmgaard to right back.
Yeah,
which he could have done from the start. It's a little odd that he didn't, actually.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it earlier on, didn't we, in the game? I think potentially now you've got a natural full-back there. Potentially might we see Everton get a little bit more and utilise the flanks a little bit better. They didn't do so as much in that first half.
Nearly an hour's work for those two, but an early rest. Needs to change the flow and the narrative here. Newly arrived Holmgaard driving forward. Right idea. Got hold of the cross too, just a bit too much on it. As we see some of the Brighton subs warming up too.
Yeah, I think she connected with that a little bit too well, Holmgaard. It was a teasing ball right across the box. Pace on the cross, but I think for Everton, that's positive for Karen Holmgaard, that she's got so high up, and that's what they're hopefully wanting, you know, Torrenson's instructions, potentially, can you do a little bit more of that in this second half?
Looks like a good acquisition, Rosa van Gaal, from Ajax. Competitive. Seems to have the box-to-box tag. We've seen a bit of that today. Certainly saw it at Anfield. Oh, cheap turnover, and Frank Kirby hasn't punished them for it. And that is a real let-off for Everton.
That is a real let-off for Everton. As you say, that we talked about potentially the danger playing out against a team like Brighton with such a, a high press and a high turnover rate for their goals. But Frank Kirby, she's obviously tried to dink it over a little bit in terms of Ramsey there, and she didn't connect with it properly. And she'll wanted to do better in that situation.
One of those where you've almost got too many options. You can have a couple of touches and drive at goal, the lob, power, placement. And unusually for Fran, she got it wrong. Ramsey relieved, and Everton's still in the contest. Again, Van Gaal making herself available, and that's a cheap one. Holmgaard offside. The thing is, the longer they don't take these chances, Fern, however dominant they've been, and there was another one there for Kirby, it just makes Everton think, maybe we pinched something here.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, she's getting herself in great positions, Frank Kirby. She just did not connect with that properly. You say she's tried to dink it with her left foot, but as you say, the longer the game goes on, are they going to rue the chances that they haven't taken, Brighton, because they've been so dominant? But it only doesn't take long to score a goal, especially for Everton, so they're well and truly still in this game.
Kirby again here. Oh, lovely ball. And if Olislargas had taken it in her stride, it may well have been that second Brighton goal. But again, the opportunity comes, and again, it isn't taken. And Everton are still in it.
Yeah, I love this from Frank Kirby, just dribbling and driving. She was always going to pass that ball, but Olislargas, whether she didn't read it or she couldn't get out of her feet quick enough, but the awareness from Frank Kirby there, I think the Everton back line have dropped off thinking she's going to take the strike, and again, just couldn't quite connect right in the final third.
Well, a left-back, but a left-back who's scored in the last 2 games, clinching goals in the League and Cup to make those respective scorelines 2-0 and 4-1. Marisa Olislargas. Scored a fair few for SV Twente as well, from whom she joined last summer. Dutch international. And Vignola. Well, why not? Okay, she didn't quite get hold of it, but she's had precious few sightings of goal.
No, she didn't get quite hold of that, but as you say, that's what Everton need. They need a player who's just going to get dribble and drive, go at players, go at defenders, and bring their team to life a little bit, because it's felt a little bit flat at times for this Everton side.
Olislargas back doing the day job of left back. Nadozi. Simple save so far, and a pretty quiet afternoon's work. 2/3 of the way to a clean sheet. Got one on debut against Villa. Well, they like a high turnover to Brighton. Adjumang's got it here. Slowed it down there, Kafaji. I wonder if she's tiring.
She looked like she was fatiguing a little bit there, didn't she? The pace of the play was quick. And
Rule. Good hit. But a straight hit.
Yeah, Kafaji slowing it down a little bit. Here you see Minimi passing it over into Charlie's Rule. And it's a strike on goal, but, it's not enough to trouble Ramsey in the Everton net.
Got 1 in the WSL last season, the Aussie. Brighton substitutes coming. Here's Hiyashi, whose number may be up. Mamiki. Vignola back to the newly arrived Kitagawa. Scored within 5 minutes of coming on at Man City in the Cup midweek. Hikaru Kitagawa.
This is a good spell of possession for Everton. They're just needing to be a little bit patient and bide their time. And again, now you say play with the wide player, play with your moments when you have got the ball. But again, keep possession.
Got a smart player up there in Katja Snoys, but she's had so little of the ball. Hiyashi. It's more like it. Ambitious from Martina Fernandez. Minami in the way. Now Aguimang will fancy this. There's a tangle there with Claire Wheeler. Was that one of those, I'll make it look like I've done this by accident, but actually I know exactly what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think she definitely knew what she was doing there, Wheeler, didn't she? Aguimang was about to break, get herself in a very dangerous area, and Claire Wheeler's took one for the team, I think, so she didn't end up 1v1.
Yeah, it had to be a card, really. I thought for a minute she was going to get away with it, but the card did come out. 2-2 on cautions. Got a lot of Aussie involvement out there. In both camps. Big Japanese contingent on the field as well at the moment. Here's a Serb, Jelena Jankovic.
Kofaji just going for another little nutmeg there. That one not quite paying off, but great little bit of footwork beforehand.
Well, with a little over a quarter of the game to go, double change coming from the Brighton bench. Rosa Kofaji will play no further part. And Carla Camacho is going to replace her. One new recruit on for another. Actually, it's a treble change, because Nadine Nordam's just got up as well, and Rachel McLaughlin back. And fit again, but there is Camacho. Scored midweek in the Cup at Pompey. Probably came for starts, but hasn't been getting them. Fran Kirby making way as well. Rachel McLaughlin did start games 1 and 2, but was out with a niggle last time around. And there is Nadine Nordam, who used to play at Ajax with Rosa van Gool before joining Brighton right at the start of this year.
Yeah, for me, it just shows the strength and depth that Brighton have got in this side, and you know they can look to the bench when players like Rosa Kofaji are getting slightly tired out on that left-hand side. You know, bringing in a player like Carla Camacho, potentially to add to that strike force for them. You know, McLaughlin I thought was fantastic in the first 2 games for Brighton, so yeah, good substitutions for them.
Slotting straight back in at right back. McLaughlin. Ollie Slugger's on the drive again. They will absolutely kick themselves, Brighton, if they don't see this through or add to it.
Yeah, it's almost like they've slightly took the foot off the pedal a little bit. They kind of start turning the dial a little bit more and getting that pace back into the game and into their play. Like you say, it's that patient build-up, but when the time is right, you need to turn up on the velocity and get things a little bit quicker and go direct and obviously take those chances and being clinical in front of goal.
And we're going to see Hayley Ladd, and we're going to see Katie Robinson back at Brighton. Mentioning a moment ago that Katja Snoys hadn't had any involvement or really been able to get involved. Nothing to do with her lack of quality, more they haven't got to the ball. Well, she's off. Yeah,
definitely. And now if you're going to bring on, you know, someone like Katie Robinson, I think she's going to want that service and the ball to her feet with quality, so she can dribble at players, drive at players, bring that energy to the game that is lacking from Everton at the moment.
Well, expending a lot of energy. Rosa van Hool, she's off, and Hayley Ladd on. Left Manchester United to get more regular game time, Hayley Ladd, and has been, but left out today. I mentioned at the top of the show, there's been a fair bit of chopping and changing in midfield from Brian Sorensen this season. He started the campaign with Ladd in there. Robinson on the run then at her former home where she made her name.
Yeah, see Michelle Adjumang just coming out onto this left-hand side as well, so that defensive aspect from here is going to be even more important coming into the latter stages of the game. Really good play from Camacho.
Jankovic with a head up. An important header from Hikaru Kitagawa.
Yeah, Kitagawa did well there, because if that goes over her head and just lands into the path of Seike, we know just how dangerous Seike can be out on this right-hand side. This is really important interception from here. Just feeling moments like that when Everton do have a chance to clear their lines. It's just that lack of composure when they are trying to come out from the back a little bit. Yes, they're trying to clear it, but can you make that clearance a little bit more effective into your own players' feet?
McLaughlin just picked up a caution there for taking too long on the throw. Indication perhaps that Brighton aren't all that comfortable if they're thinking about wasting time. They haven't got themselves in the clear here. They should have done by now. Just in case there's a question of a head injury, I think it's more facial for Kiko Seike here. Yeah, stray arm in the face. Oh, no, it's the ball, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a ball
Ouch.
Straight to the face there. It looks like a painful one.
And at least it's not January. Not wishing to sound unsympathetic, but it would be worse if it was midwinter, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing quite nice about a ball to the face, is there, especially from that close range. It looks like she was giving them the nod, though, hopefully good enough to come back on and join back in.
Looks to me like we might be seeing Tony Payne soon, going through some instructions on the touchline. Just confirmation of that. Return to action caution for Rachel McLaughlin. Signing last summer from Rangers.
I think if we do see the introduction of a player like Tony Payne, that's when Everton are potentially going to get even that more kind of energy from them. She's an exciting young player that is not afraid to go forward and not afraid to drive at players. So, as you say, even more important that Brighton potentially try to capitalise on the shots that they're having when they do face in front of goal.
Well, the only game Everton have been shut out in this season, I know it's early season, this is the 5th game in all competitions, was the 2-0 against Tottenham. That's a clever pass. Try that one again. Substitutions just affecting the flow of the game. That might not be the worst thing in the world for Everton. More changes are coming. Hayley Ladd with the ball, and Mamiki was close to taking that in her stride.
Yeah, she couldn't quite find Mamiki there, but I think, you know, for Hayley Ladd, a player that, you know, they're bringing on because she's got that experience within the game. She can control that midfield a little bit better, and then, as you say, when she does pick the ball up, she'll look to keep possession and look to bring other players with her. So, you know, that's another positive substitution, and as you say, Tony Payne as well, potentially now.
Hiyashi off, Payne on. That's definitely not a straight swap. On comes the AFCON winning forward. And now trying to score past her Nigerian teammate Chiamaka Nnadozie and get Everton back into this. And Kiko Seke, well, no glory against Everton today, but she departs hoping her teammates can see the job through. And Mari Owe, the Dutch player, is on here. Herstead.
Yeah, Seke couldn't quite get into it to the second half as much as she did in the first half. She kind of faded out a little bit in the second half, so fresh legs in the substitution, especially important for Brighton in the, you know, the later stages of the game.
Well, from the first half hour of this game, you'd have said Brighton would be in the clear by this point, I think, at 77. It's absolutely not panned out that way.
That was a similar story for them in the first half. I mean, the first game of the season when they drew 0-0 with Aston Villa, they had chances in that game as well, but couldn't quite take them. You just hope they're not going to rue the chances that they've created so far. And we've seen for all the possession that you know Brighton had in the first half, it's now evened out between the teams, but it's getting into the final third for Everton and getting those chances in the boxes and creating those real clear-cut chances we're still yet to see from them.
Further back, I think, is the directive for the throw here. Mamiki's looked fairly sharp, actually, and a nice drop of the shoulder there. Has brought a card for the captain, Maisie Simons.
Yeah, it's clever there from Mamiki. She sees the player coming, she uses her body really well, gets it in front of Maisie Simons, buys the foul, buys the yellow card. But as you say, I think she's been a real bright spark in the Everton side today, and anything positive that has kind of occurred from them has gone through Mamiki. She's looked lively, she's looked to play forward, and she's been tidy in possession.
It's become a very fractured game, this, the latest foul from Hayley Ladd. But also, you know, with time wasting on the throw, they picked up 4 yellow cards now, Brighton. It's just, yeah, I think you're seeing their nerves, which you might see at any level, with, you know, 1-0 up, 10-15 to play. There's an anxiety about them. There wasn't earlier. There was a free flow.
There was, and there was a quality on the pass. The execution was good. They've just lacked that in the last 10-15 minutes. We're seeing passes going astray, not getting as tight to players as maybe they were doing.
Robinson in on Nnadozie. And she's booked too. Oh, the yellow cards are popping in and out like a toaster.
Robinson getting an impact on the game. I think Nnadozie's obviously again seen Robinson coming, and she's left her leg in there. It's a bit of a a late dive from Nadozi as well.
It's yeah, sort of half pulling out, half following through from the former Seagull.
Certainly didn't look like dangerous intent from Katie Robinson.
Now here's Tony Payne, how she could do with a goal. You take the number 9 shirt from Tony Duggan. You hope to get more than 1 in 17, which is what she got in the WSL last term. It would be a precious one here as we go into the final 10. McLaughlin teasing one forward. We've seen one smart touch from Camacho since coming on, but that ball's not sticking up top at all for Brighton now, since that reshuffle.
No, you see a cross coming from deep there as opposed to building and playing more so in the final third. It's just a little bit frantic, I think, from Brighton at times.
It's 4-3 in yellow cards now in a scrappy second half. Not seen nearly the quality we saw in the first half in terms of the football.
It's that stage in the game, isn't it, where fatigue sets in, not just of the legs, but of the mind and as well. You know, kind of those decisions going astray, passes going astray, and it's, you know, it's which team can stay switched on right until that final whistle.
Brian Sorensen getting stuck in from the touchline again. Here's McLaughlin. Away.
Again, just when they had a little bit of a spell of possession, Brighton, and, you know, trying to keep the ball in the final third. McLaughlin just a little bit of a, you know, a loose pass. Can't quite find the pass he's looking for. That connection was lacking a little bit. And obviously off for a goal kick.
Simon's one of those who's being cautioned. Play, 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 shouts Sorensen, but they don't.
It's a late challenge from Maisie Simons. I think if she'd have gone wholeheartedly in the first instance, she would have made the ball and made the tackle, but it was the delay and the weight, and as you say, whether that's the delay of the mind, delay of the legs as fatigue setting in. Someone else keep it in now.
Kitagawa trying to slide it through for Tony Payne. It was the right idea. Close to another clean sheet. Chamaka Nadozi. High boot, Carla Camacho.
Yeah, it's definitely a high boot there for Camacho. Seen Nadozi just trying to relieve the pressure for her team. Going long, trying to find a flick on from Camacho into Aguiman, can't quite find it.
Real Madrid on Barcelona there, formerly. Ambitious pass, and it's found Holmgaard. Brilliantly done. Robinson cuts it back. Tony Payne was probably heading on target. Didn't really get hold of it, but the block was there. Here's Mamiki. You definitely feel there's a point to pinch here for Everton. Yeah. Brighton have been kind of sitting on it.
Yeah, again, just seeing that experience of Hayley Ladd. It's a fantastic ball into the channel originally. Again, Everton just pushing and pushing. Here, home guard right on this right-hand side, getting into the areas where we said they needed those attacking fullbacks.
Got to be a first-time cross. It was, but it was clipped in. I don't know how Stenovic arrived over there, but she did. And there she is again. That's a better pass for Wheeler. Well timed by Minami. Danger not over yet. And Everton are starting to push here. It's not quite kitchen sink, but it's getting there. And it needs to be, obviously. Robinson for home guard. Oh, I thought for a minute she might go down there. Too honest?
Yeah, for me, I thought the same. It looked like there was a leg stuck out there, and home guard, if you know, she was could have been connected. It looked like she could have gone down, to be honest. Again, gets herself in a fantastic position. And there would have been a connection. I think there would have been contact. It's just, obviously, like you say, slightly too honest there from home guard.
Ollie Slagers has definitely lifted a leg after the ball's gone there. It wasn't in the act of, so to speak, it was after. In comes the corner. Wheeler launches it. That looks too long. They're just nervily sitting in here now. His team might run out of time. Four minutes plus whatever is to be added on. And that will do nicely for Brighton, a chance to get up the field. Hayley Ladd penalised for it. Off, 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 they shout. Was it a tangle or was there a flying arm in there?
Argyman does not look happy at all, does she?
Which normally tells you that they really do think that something has happened. And Hayley Ladd, the way she is, I'm not going to say apologising, but let's have a look here.
Yeah, there's arms, there's big tussle. I mean, I'd like to see it from a different angle, because it looks as though Hayley Ladd's potentially holding onto the back of her head a little bit as she's
well, if there's a hair pull, then that is a red card offence. We know that.
That's what she was complaining of.
And she's won another free kick here, doing what she can, even off the ball, to keep her team up here. It's been an important contribution apart from the goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's just keeping herself involved, and even if it's not in the box, you know, she's affecting players around her. She's winning free kicks, just trying to change the way the momentum's been. It's been swinging in Everton's way the last 5-10 minutes, and now she's won her team a free kick on the edge of the box.
Maisie Simon's one of our own, Sing the Home fans, and it is she who takes this free kick. Oh, lovely, sneaky delivery around the back, and on the slide was Hayes, who has an incredible scoring record for a defender.
Yeah, it was a nice free kick over across from Maisie Simons, wasn't it? They knew exactly what they were doing. Looked like one worked on in the training ground. Hayes just couldn't quite connect with it on the edge of on the other side of the box.
Well, never mind the permanent move to Goodison. Brian Sorensen needs to play all games at Anfield, I think. It's going to be 4 defeats on the spin, unless. Here's Carla Camacho. And Aguimang, it did get through to her, and still looked a little tired there. And we're hearing there will be, depending on what happens in the next 90 seconds, 5 minutes added on, so it's more than enough time.
I think at a time when the game is swinging like this in ebbs and flows, you want to try and keep possession as much as you can. I can see what Caitlin Hayes was trying to do there with the direct ball in, but for me it's can you keep possession as long as possible, keeping it away from the Everton side.
Hayley Ladd. Teaser down the channel for Payne. comfortable for Nadozie, and it has been a comfortable hour and a half for her, hasn't it, Fern? Really not had a lot to do.
No, she's not had a lot to do in the, in a goal, but they say it almost feels like, still doesn't feel like there's not a goal in this game, though. I think both teams potentially need to stay as switched on as possible, because it still feels like there's a chance for either side, even with 5 minutes to go.
McLaughlin. As we go into your player of the match, Fern.
Yeah, for me, it's Michelle Agyemang. I just think she's been everywhere today on the pitch. Obviously, getting her first goal for the club today, this season. So I think for me, she's been a nuisance. She's caused problems, and also a defensive work rate for me is one that, can't be taken for granted within this Brighton side. So yeah, she's my player of the match today.
Sure-footed back past that from Katie Robinson, and it needed to be. They didn't want to just lump it. You can understand that, Everton. They had played their way around a squeeze there. Holmgaard.
Good from Nadozie, just staying alert, staying equal to, as you say. She's not much to do in the goal, but, when called upon, she's been there, and she's done the job she's asked to do. It
was good from Camacho. I'm not sure Nordam's had a touch yet since coming on, but she's doing plenty of the running, which is really what was required of her. Gifted from Stenovic to McLaughlin. All time on the ball, precious for Brighton. Don't have to do anything with it.
See Mamiki there, just demanding more from her team. Obviously, when they are playing out, yes, it's a high press from Brighton, but can you have that quality? Can you play in and around them a little bit? Because Brighton, when they do get the ball now, they're going to keep possession. They're going to try and keep it away. But again, on the attack in Everton's final third.
Zipped in by Jankovic to Camacho, who has got it after a fashion. Simons.
Clever from Simons again, just drawing the foul. They're trying to draw the game out now, Brighton. But they've won it. They've got a free kick again in a dangerous area. It's just whether they'll do anything with it or whether they'll just keep possession.
Yeah, they're not exactly flooding the box, are they?
One player in there at the moment for Brighton.
Short, there's a surprise. Jelena Jankovic here. And again. If there are shin pads in those socks, they must be tiny. That's a cute attempt at a pass from Simons to a midfield colleague. Maybe not what was needed, actually. Everton have got it back here. Mamiki has tried to make things happen for Everton. I feel like she's been one of their busier players. Here's Camacho, Agyemang. Nordam's got a touch now.
Yeah, you see Mamiki trying to play, hasn't she? But she's got numbers and bodies around her. Brighton's defending's been excellent today, especially in numbers and as a collective.
Right now, these two are going to be staying in the positions they started the day in, just with a bigger gap. They were 6 and 7. They still are 6 and 7, but there's 4 points between them now instead of 1. And a fractionally early departure for Agyemang. Well played. And to replace her, Melissa Mpome. And this is the difference between the two, Fern.
Yeah, again, we're seeing the goal again here. She just does so well on the half turn, on the half spin to get her left foot round it. Reacts first, instinctive in the box. And again, that's why she was, you know, for me, deserving player of the match. I think she's been everywhere today.
Molly Sampome to Brighton from Chelsea, hoping to get what she didn't get with the champions. Regular game time. Tony Payne, anywhere but there. Gratefully grabbed by Shamaka Nadozi, whose clean sheet is now all but confirmed, as are the points for the Seagulls here.
Yeah, you just feel for Everton again. A slow start in the game has proved costly for them. And then they're trying to claw their way back into the games, as they had to do so against London City last time when they lost 2-1. And, you know, with games coming up against Leicester, Manchester United, you feel like points today would have been, you know, even more so important for them. So, you know, that Leicester game next week then potentially turns into a must-win for them.
We've had our 5 minutes. We have had a change during that 5, so we might be done the next time the ball comes in play. It looks like time has run out on Everton. They haven't threatened enough today, is the bottom line. Ollie Slager's had a chance to make it more comfortable. But one is enough for Brighton. What a good week it's been for Dario Vidicic and his players. A puff of the cheeks from the match winner, Michelle Aguiman. Her goal was very much on merit in that first half. Good football before the break from Brighton. More a case of grinding it out in the second half, but they have ground it out. Well, for Everton, it is 4 defeats on the spin. Back-to-back league wins for the Seagulls. Brighton 1, Everton 0, the full-time score.